Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana Market update video. We've got some really exciting stuff to look at today, some cool stories, and some awesome artwork to take a look at. So first and foremost, appreciation post to Mr. Ed Chu, who won the North American Championships. Ed also took down one of the DLC events, so he's amassed quite the collection of playsets and trophy cards and all sorts of cool stuff. He posted a picture on Twitter that I wanted to share with you guys. So first and foremost, obviously he won the first North American Championships, and so he has a playset of every enchanted. So that means 4 of every enchanted from the current set, which would be Azurite Sea. So he's got 4 enchanteds there. He's got 4 booster boxes of the Azurite Sea. So he's got a case of Azurite Sea. He's got its trophy. He's got his Baymax sleeves. In combination with inside the Rescue Ranger away boxes are the playsets of the foil versions of the cards. So you might have your Calhouns, your Genies, etc. Playsets of the cold foil variants throughout Azurite Sea. And then at the top, obviously saved the best for last, he's got multiple golden Mickeys. He's got his Invited to the Ball, Baymax, Elsa's Ice Palace, Cusco, Rapunzel, Cinderella, and Let It Go all at the top there. Cold foil across the board, all resting on the encased cold foil Baymax playmat. Just an insane collection. Shout out to Ed. He got creative with his deck. He predicted the metagame appropriately. And I'm curious if any of you guys, in terms of top players, are watching today. I'm curious what you guys do with your your trophy cards that you win. I know obviously some people collect, some people sell. I would love to hear kind of what, accounts directly from the players on what they're doing. I know Dale usually collects most of his, but for someone like this, like if you've got to travel to the event, you've got airfare, you've got lodging, you've got food, just general expenses, like that stuff adds up. And so I'm curious if people kind of hedge against that by selling some of the cards that they win. I'm sure they do, right? Or if they don't, then they're just sitting on a stack of shiny cardboard. Like, I mean, this picture is an insane amount. Like, I don't know, like what's probably good over like $50,000 worth of cards, give or take, or just not just cards, obviously the playmat, the booster boxes, etc. But yeah, I'd say like $50,000 probably for everything in this picture. Like, that's an insane amount of money just to be laying out on the table. So kudos to Ed. Great work on the win. It was a masterclass, and thank you for sharing that picture with us. Some other cool stuff that I wanted to share here were from the Discord. So I can remember Vader Llama was at the event, and there were vendor booths there, and he took a lot of really cool pictures. He made some really cool purchases, and so I wanted to share some of those here with you guys. I really got a kick out of them. I'm sure you guys will too. So the first thing is these cool X-Men sketches on the 7 Dwarves cards. Very, very cool from the artist who did the 7 Dwarves artwork, then kind of covering them and doodling on them with the X-Men art, which is fantastic. I love it. You've got Magneto in there, Wolverine, you've got the whole crew. Very, very cool. And this is something, once again, that I just love the potential with Lorcana within this particular, just like the doodling, the signing, etc. In Pokemon, it's become very frowned upon for the artists to do this. The doodles they might doodle, they might not. Sometimes Pokemon is not letting them. Sometimes some of the more prominent artists don't even attend these events or offer signatures. It's kind of frowned upon. And so having just creative freedom and having artists come to these events is very, very exciting. Not to say that Pokemon doesn't do any of that, because they do, but I think the creative freedoms are just a lot bigger on the Lorcana side of things. Moving on to some other cool stuff. All sorts of foil promos. You'll see a Baymax in here. I think that it says 11,000. There's a chance that that's a 4. I think that it's 11,000 though. We'll have to see what shakes out in the future, but my hot take for today is I think that this card might be more valuable than the Golden Mickey. And that is strictly based on the limited quantity of these. Once again, we have to see if they're continue to be used for different DLCs going into the 2025 season and what that looks like. But right now, I think that that's kind of a sleeper to be one of the most valuable cards in all of Lorcana. You can see all the different price cards here in combination with the D23 set up top here. They even have a D23 2022 set up above that, obviously down below the pristine 2024 collection. And they've just got cases and cases of all sorts of really, really cool cards. They've got some one-off cards for your decks. They've got your enchanteds that you might need. They've got some graded. They've got the Rise of the Floodborn gift box, 6-pack of alt arts. They've got some graded Elsas, the D23 bag. Another full case of all sorts of various different enchanteds and whatnot. And then another kind of a bigger view of that first case we looked at. You've got the full D23 set. You've got all sorts of promos up here. You've got the Three Musketeers. You've got the 4 Dozen Eggs. All of the early promos. Obviously, the same promos we looked at down here, and then not a bad little four set of golden Mickeys right there sitting in the middle. So very, very cool display. Amplifies my FOMO to the max of not going to these events. Like seeing all these cards in person would be amazing, and I would without a doubt do some damage to the wallet on if I was there, because some of those cards are just tremendous. They also have sealed stuff. They have all the playmats back there, all the portfolios, the stitch boxes, booster boxes. They've kind of got it all, it would appear. Anything that you want Lorcana related, they've got. He also, let's see here, I want to look at a couple pieces that he picked up. Some doodles that were there. I mean, these, like, Nicholas Cole is my favorite artist. And so, like, seeing his cards with doodles on them just look amazing. Now, they don't look like they're signed by Nick. And so I wonder if this is the voice actor for Stitch. I'm not sure who they're signed by there. Maybe you guys can clue me in on that. But the doodles themselves on top of the Stitch artwork, whether it's the Rockstar or the Carefree Surfer, they just look amazing. I mean, these artists are so talented, and it brings me so much joy just seeing their cards. I mean, I can't even write my name legibly. I write, my penmanship is just horrific. I'm a terrible artist. So I just get giddy when I see people like this be able to express themselves in ways that I just quite frankly never could. And so seeing cards like this are just tremendous. So thank you very much, Vader, for sharing these. A couple of his picks up, Lee's Stitches in particular. I love the Carefree Surfer Stitch card. Lee's artworks look tremendous. And he got a whole bunch of stuff there. So all sorts of Cuscos. You can see some enchanteds he picked up, a little discard action, a couple playmats, all sorts of prize wall Baymaxes. We got some pins, we got some signed cards, we got it all. So thank you very much. And even a cold foil Baymax playmat there. That's just an awesome pickup. Really, really cool stuff. So thank you very much for sharing. I truly appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Finishing up with one little story here, and then we'll get into a couple cards in terms of price action today. So another interesting, or not interesting, but just a fun story that definitely resonated with me in terms of someone getting into Lorcana that I saw on Reddit that was posted 20 hours ago that I wanted to share to you guys. So the title isn't really relevant, but we'll read it. It says, does anyone else think Disney will produce a line of cards similar to Magic's Secret Lair Drop series? So you guys know that have been around for a while. I don't collect Magic. I've never collected Magic. I've had a few cards here and there, but never played it, never collected it. But his note, it resonates with me a lot. He says, I am a longtime Magic player who, thanks to my 8-year-old, has recently gotten into Lorcana, and I'm absolutely loving how much her and I are bonding over it. The excitement she gets whenever she recognizes one of her characters brings me so much joy, and the gameplay is incredibly fun. So that sentence there resonates a ton with me, and it's a lot of how I got into Lorcana, and it's a lot of my, as I have my mindset and this framework around Lorcana, I think this is just the separator from Lorcana from every other TCG, including even Pokemon. The excitement she gets whenever she recognizes one of her characters, one of her favorite characters, or one of the characters, brings me so much joy, and the gameplay is incredibly fun. Whenever my daughter and I opened our first couple packs of Lorcana, and she pulled that uncommon Snow Queen Elsa, she lit up like a Christmas tree. She was so excited, and me seeing that excitement in her just like triggered something in my brain. And fast forward, here we are with just it as deep as you can get. But that's the power of Lorcana, right? This person is a longtime Magic player. They probably didn't really have any interest in getting in Lorcana. They have a daughter. They open a few packs, and then boom, it's on. They mentioned that the cards are beautiful as well. We're starting to look for singles to collect in binders, which has always been a fun side hobby of mine, dabbling in Magic. But this is the exact, apart from being a Magic player, this is the exact trajectory of mine getting into Lorcana. And I think just having that family experience, these kids grow up on watching Disney Plus and watching Mickey Mouse and going to the parks and just this entire Disney universe and being able to pull these cards and have their favorite art on it. Like, my daughter doesn't care that uncommon Snow Queen Elsa wasn't an Enchanted. Like, she loves it. Now, she loves the Elsa Enchanted, Spirit of Winter, and all that too. But at the end of the day, like that, like, you know, they're simple. They're kids. She saw that Elsa and it lit her up. And you know, in combination, it lit me up as well. And once again, fast forward, we're here. The secret layer stuff, in terms of the magic drops, I'm not really sure. A lot of people seem to be poo-pooing it, that it's a bad idea. I don't understand why anyone would wish for that in the light of disastrous last secret layer drop. It's Scalper's Paradise, where very few win and the vast majority of player base loses. So there's a lot of that same sentiment, which was interesting. Once again, that part is kind of irrelevant to me, but I loved hearing that story. It's very similar to my own. And once again, I think it's just something that, you know, obviously kids are gonna, most kids like find Pokemon, and I feel like it's still very popular amongst the youth. But something that even before they get into Pokemon, right, is definitely all of these different Disney IPs, whether that's, you know, something like Toy Story that's coming in the future, you know, Lady and the Tramp that's coming out, Bolt, or some of the, you know, previous sets that we've had between, you know, Frozen, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland, etc. List goes on and on. Lion King. There's just so many cool correlations and things that you can do with your kids at a very young age that Lorcana provides, and it's brought me a ton of joy. And I just felt like this, you know, you could literally replace me as the poster here, and I would not be surprised. So shout out to Barking Spiders 19. I wish them a long and fruitful journey collecting Lorcana. They're about to get into the dangerous part, because the game is incredibly fun. The cards are beautiful. You can share amazing moments with your daughter, and it says, so we're starting to look for singles to collect in binders. The great, you know, the beginning of the end here for them. They're about to be all in. So some cool stuff there. Some price movement on cards here. Lady Tremaine. This is one that I'd mentioned in several videos in the past, of a card that I felt like was underpriced and a card that I felt like had room to run. Obviously, it's from set 2, Rise of the Floodborn, which I believe is the cheapest set, and it's also a very meta and just playable card. So it's not necessarily the biggest like collectability IP. Lady Tremaine doesn't really move the needle a ton for me personally. I'm sure there's some people out there that it does. But where it does move the needle is it's an enchanted from an underprinted set that is hard to grade and has utility in the game, right? It's when you play this character, each opponent chooses and banishes one of their characters. If they only have one character out there, they banish it, and that's there's a lot of utility there. And so this was a card that I think it was readily available for like $60 to $70 for a long time. You see 71, 70, 69, so it's like 60s to 70s in terms of price point. Lowest available on the market right now is 125 off the back of the NA Championships. And so a card, once again, that I felt like was very underpriced at the 60 to 70 price point has now shot up to 125. I think that this is, you know, I think probably closer to 100 is a fair price for this card, but 125, definitely not faulting anyone for getting it there. Could definitely see it continue to go up, as we only have 2 available, and then we're staring at 140 and up from there. I think long term this card will be more than $125 as the collector's side of Lorcana continues to grow. But this is a card that I think will, you know, we're in a good spot now, right? It's over doubled just overnight. And it'll probably continue to trend up. A card that I'm kicking myself a little bit for not at least having one more copy of, because I have a graded copy and then I have a raw copy that I use in my decks. But typically, if you're playing Lady Tremaine, you're at least playing 2 of. And so I do wish I had another one that I would have taken my own advice. Now I have other priorities with the collection. I don't have unlimited capital, right? But one that I wish I had another one of for when I do play Lady Tremaine, usually having 2 of them. And if you know me, if I can have an enchanted version of that card in my deck, I'm going to do it. And this is no exception, right? So I wish I had another one, but right now I just have the one in the deck. And moving on to the next card here, Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. Once again, if you've been around for a while, you know this is one of my favorite cards. And this is a card that now the lowest on the market is $315, essentially, all in when you look at shipping. This is a card that I think it's the best artwork of any set card. It's obviously one of the, if not the biggest IP under the Disney brand, with Cinderella. It's from set 2. It's very hard to grade. It's just got, in terms of a set card, it's got everything that I'm looking for both a collector and just an enjoyer of the artwork. I think it's gorgeous, and it's got all the provenance that I'm looking for as it relates to a set card. Obviously, a set card is never going to be as, you know, the long-term trajectory is never going to be as high as like a promo card or a trophy card and some of these unique cards that come out. But for a set card, I think this is as good as it can get. And this is a card that if you told me that in a year from now, this would be more expensive than the Elsa, I would not be surprised at all. Now, obviously that's going to have to take a huge meta shift in the collector base and what people are going after. But I just think that there's probably half the supply of these of the Elsas just in total circulation in combination with the things that I mentioned there. I just think that this card is set up for success, and it is starting to uptick. So over the last year, a year ago exactly, this card was probably selling for close to $500 for a raw copy. That was kind of the peak that it saw. Now, this was before the influx of First Chapter came out, as well as another kind of restock, if you will, of Rise of the Floodborn, which then kind of pushed everything down. But before that, this card was hitting $500 for a near mint copy, and I would not be surprised if we get back to that number this year. I think this card is incredibly collectible, and I think that it's just one of the best cards in terms of set cards in all of Lorcana, based on all of the things that I touched on there. So it is continuing to trend up. We are now staring at 315 for a near mint copy, and that is the highest it's been in a while. And so it's kind of creeping back up to all-time highs here, and we'll see what 2025 holds for Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. Definitely one that I've got several PSA 10 copies of it. I have one raw copy of it, very similar to Lady Tremaine, but one that I would love to have a raw playset of, to put in my Amber decks. Amber, one of my favorite colors. Love the song functionality within Lorcana, and singing that, her being a singer 3, obviously just demolishes the game. So very, very cool card. Awesome to see it get some love here and continue to trend up. I would say there's probably 20 cards in total on the market, I would say, for sale. I thought there was a way that it showed how many were available there at the top, but maybe it doesn't. Total sold, no. Current sellers, current quantity. So there's 20 for sale right now. So not a lot of them available, right? 20 is a very small number. Obviously, Rise of the Floodborn, not a set that's getting opened a ton these days. There's still plenty available, but it's not getting ripped as much as some other sets here. Definitely a set that I love the collectability of moving forward. Right now, a box for Rise of the Floodborn is about 142, 143. So still sitting around MSRP. Still quite a bit of volume here in terms of buying the boxes, kind of 20 to 30 every kind of 3 days sample set there. But a set that I'm a huge fan of moving forward, without a doubt. So shout out to Cindy, shout out to Lady Tremaine, and shout out to Ed Chu for sharing his loot, and to Vader Llama for sharing his loot from the pickups at the vendor. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you all liked it and enjoyed looking at some of the art as much as I did. Just anytime you can get a collection like this together, that's just take a moment to appreciate it. It's pretty cool. So that is it for me, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.